When you hear the phrase, rich countries cause climate change, poor countries pay the price, what comes to mind? An unfair system, a global injustice, or just the harsh truth everyone knows, but no one with real power wants to confront? We talk about climate change as a shared problem, a crisis affecting all humanity, but the reality is brutally uneven. Some nations burned the coal, built the factories, and grew wealthy from centuries of emissions, while others who contributed almost nothing are the ones drowning, starving, and suffering. The world warms equally, but the consequences don't. For over 200 years, the richest nations industrialized at full speed. They filled the atmosphere with carbon, cut down forests, and built empires powered by fossil fuels. Those emissions created modern prosperity, high-tech cities, powerful economies, comfortable lifestyles. Meanwhile, many of the poorest countries were colonized, exploited, or stripped of resources to fuel that same industrial rise. The irony: after centuries of pollution, the rich now lecture the poor about sustainability and demand they grow responsibly, without repeating the very path that made the rich wealthy in the first place. Today, the pattern hasn't changed, it's just more sophisticated. Small island nations barely produce emissions, yet they face rising seas, disappearing land, and storms intensified by a problem they didn't create. African countries responsible for a tiny share of global carbon endure droughts, crop failures, and deadly heat waves. South Asia suffers floods, extreme monsoons, and climate-driven migration on a massive scale. But when these countries ask for financial help, wealthy nations make big promises and deliver almost nothing. Funds arrive late, arrive small, or arrive with strings attached. And here's the uncomfortable truth: rich countries still emit far more per person, still consume more resources, and still pressure developing nations to cut emissions faster than they themselves ever did. Climate responsibility becomes a burden the poor are forced to carry. So here's the dilemma: if rich countries cause the majority of historical emissions, should they bear the majority of the cost? If poor nations need energy to escape poverty, do they have the right to develop the same way wealthy nations once did? And when climate disasters hit countries that barely contributed to global warming, who is morally or financially responsible? Because right now, the message is clear. Rich nations created the crisis, but poor nations are left to survive it. Rich countries cause climate change, poor countries pay the price isn't just an accusation, it's a reality. A reality where responsibility is avoided, where promises are broken, and where the people least responsible lose the most. The solution requires more than speeches, summits, and symbolic pledges. It requires accountability, fairness, and a recognition that climate justice isn't about the planet, it's about people. So what do you think? Is the world truly fighting climate change together, or are the poorest simply paying the debt the richest created? Thanks for watching.